Hello, welcome back to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audiovisual Services. And once again, I am joined by Mr. Ryan Finch, Creative Technology Director.
I'm not the president of what was it?
Oh, well, I changed it, Finch.
Yeah,
Some call me El Capitan.
El Capitan. Very nice. Yeah, we got some new toys working here behind the scenes of this this AVX experience here. I'm feeling a little boxed in, but I think it's better. I think it's better.
I mean, it shrinks your head a little, which is good.
Our heads are the same sizes too. Only through the power of technology, because you had to smash mine down to size.
Well, you're the most humble. So I mean, what are you going to do?
Most humble. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Look, we had a week off last week. Woo, man. And if you notice, I have a little tan, but we did have a week off, and it wasn't due to that. But before we get to that, Ryan, tell us a little bit about you have a little bit of a new setup yourself over there.
I do actually, and
just give you the floor.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Oh. Obviously, green screens by itself are not a groundbreaking premise. I'm sure a lot of people have their own little pop-up green screens that they use for their Zoom calls and Teams meetings and all that. But we figured, actually, it was brought to our attention by some new team members that we are, in fact, a technology company, and my camera image looks terrible every week. So we figured we might as well start making some improvements. And so we're not done yet. We're going to impress the audience in ways that even I don't know yet. But that now seems like it's my focus.
I'm blown away. I mean,
not yet. Won't be blown away yet.
I like this new setup. I like what you've done.
You like what I've done with the place?
I like what you've done with the place. We've got some new tools on our program that we're using. StreamYard is our software, so we're actually going to be demoing some new things today as well, because they just had a new release, and because that's what we do. So anytime you see random little things pop up, it's because
know how you're doing that.
I'm learning. I know how to do them because I watched all the videos.
I did watch all the videos. Yes. I just don't know how to do that if I'm not logging in from the beginning, but it's okay. Oh, never mind.
I do know how to do it. So,
okay.
Yeah, say stop hitting my button. Anyways, let's get this show moving. Finch, why don't you tell people how they can find us so they can come back and see all our new toys again?
Okay, fine. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, live every single, most Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And while you're there, you can drop us a comment. You can be part of the show. You can ask questions. We will answer them live. And you should also, while you're tuning in, you should comment, you should share, and subscribe. All the above. Much appreciated. And of course, last but not least, if you missed the show, you can find our whole video discography on YouTube, and you can find bite-sized pieces on Facebook and on Instagram. All of those things. Boom.
That was increíble.
I like to think so.
I mean, this show is international, so sometimes we have to address our international audience.
Increíble.
Yeah. And that came from El Capitan. Okay.
One day, I'm learning enough Spanish that we're going to be able to do this entire show in Espanol. So that's
all right. Okay, that day will come. But before we get there, let's discuss today's topic.
Okay.
And, so listen, we're going to discuss first why we weren't here last week. I think that's a good place to start.
Joe, why don't you take that part?
I'm going to take this part because, Ryan, this is a visual. Last week, we were fortunate enough to receive the Corporate Community Partner Award from our friends at the Association of Development Officers. And this is a group of about 200 approximately nonprofit professionals who are based in Westchester County. And, what I like about them is they're all working together really to kind of continuously improve on their fundraising skills. And I think that's just great because that's what it's all about.
Oh, he did it again. That's a catchphrase.
That was good, right? Either way, great group of people. They're all working for different nonprofits. They're all helping our community. And that's nice. And, it's a real honor for us to be a part of that and to receive this award. And that got us kind of thinking about how important our business relationships are. And, so we thought it might be a really good topic for today. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the different types of business relationships. So there we go, Mr. Finch. That's our jump off point.
That's right. Okay. Well, jumping off from that, Well, I think there's a pretty obvious place to start. We talk about delivering successful results. We talk about experiences and developing long-term relationships, and that's really the core part of our mission. So obviously, it probably makes sense to start with the client relationship, right? And now we have to demo the new thing. Boom! Wait, boom!
That was very nice, very impressive. I don't
Too much
know
fun
if
with this
that
kind
was
of
the
thing.
new thing I was expecting, but either way, very good.
That's right, Robbie. I'm not sure what it's all about, but I also like it.
Ryan clearly does not know what it's all about, but either way, I think clients is the easiest thing for everyone to absorb and understand. Obviously, you're in
Yeah.
business, you need to have clients or you're out of business. Um, but it is a little bit more than that. I think a great place to start is the perspective. And I know personally, I've worked with different people who have what I would call a very transactional view and perspective. They look at it as it's this event, it's today, it's right now, it's this one night, and they can't get beyond that. But I don't know if that's really the right perspective to have. Maybe you have some other thoughts, Ryan.
Well, I would agree. I mean, obviously, look, we talk a lot about client experience and our approach to sales, if you want to call it that, and it is certainly not transactional. It is much more of a consultative approach. Basically everything in our service oriented business is really geared towards not having it just be a singular transaction, not a one-off event as we call them, but really just a longer term thing. I mean, upsell is really not in our dictionary, our vocabulary. There we go, nailed it. It's much more about making sure that we're first aware of your goals, your big picture, your vision for the event, and just making that or putting that at the core of what we do and the decisions that we make, and what piece goes with what, and what person is on site to to kind of deliver that experience. So it is certainly much more of a long view in the client relationship from our perspective than just that one individual event.
No, I agree completely. And what that means is there may be some give and take, right? Maybe this particular event that we're discussing today is a lower budget project for them, but they have two other events that are bigger in scope and scale. Do you just want to work on the big projects? Because that's not really a partner.
Right.
Doesn't mean you can't. Some organizations are only driven towards certain styles of events. But I know for us, we don't really want just events. We want clients. And that requires more of a long-term perspective. And so we end up trying to balance off the smaller projects and the larger projects, and a little bit of give and take. But either way, it's still about delivering results. And that is easier to do if you understand the big picture and understand the vision for the organization.
Absolutely. Well, it's also, I think becoming a resource for more than just that specific event, right? When they start to think of you as somebody who can help them with a problem, whether or not that suits us, financially speaking, in that moment, I think that becomes irrelevant for us, right? I think, Joe, you've had some groups that have reached out to you saying like, oh well, no, that's too small. You don't need to help us with that. That's
Mhm.
not for you. But in many cases, that it's really not how we want them to think of us. We think of me as a solution to your problem, and not an ego that you're interacting with. Because I think people get kind of pigeonholed, or we could very easily become pigeonholed.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't really mean to bring this up, but we got a note just this morning from an event last night, and it referred to a final seamlessly professional gal. And that has so much to do with you and your team. Thank you for your expertise and your partnership and commitment to a flawless event.
Hmm.
That's the kind of email you like to get started your day with, So, but that's because
Absolutely.
it's a longer perspective. So
Right.
it's not an event per se, but it's a client.
Absolutely. So, I mean, look, clients are the obvious start, but there are certainly some other relationships. For us, I would say venues are certainly an important relationship. Look, we're typically guests in their house, right? We have to collaborate in some way.
Can I take my shoes off in their house?
No, and you cannot put chairs together and sleep on them. You can't do that either. You know, you have to be respectful in these environments. Oh, wait, hold on. Very important.
Oh yeah. Wow. That was good. That was really good.
Again, far too much fun with this. You know, but we got to be cognizant of their needs. You know, the big picture for them, what's going on before and after, leaving things as clean as we found them. You know, I think that one is
So
easily overlooked.
I shouldn't roll up a big giant ball of gaff and throw it in the corner.
No, but I would say a single ball of gaff is better than individual pieces of gaff still stuck to the carpet in 15 places. That you know, there's a scale here, and I will say some venues don't leave garbage cans out. They're literally nowhere. So
You might have to look.
in any case, Joe, what do you think about venues?
I mean, I think venues are a very important relationship for us. I think you start from, you know, again, if we start with a concept that you're working together for a shared goal of helping whoever the client is, right? And then you go from, are you building future referrals? Are you working together later? But I think if you start as you're working together, I think that's a critical thing. Instead of, yeah, you know, this place is a pain in the ass and we got to go here. And, you know, this guy, yeah, like it's not really the right perspective. So you got to start from you're working together. But I mean, venues have become a very important relationship to us. We tend to go back to many spots over and over.
Right.
And I know that people would think that New York and New York City and the area is this humongous area and you'll never see each other, but that's not really how it works. We see people everywhere and they go from one place to another place. So inevitably your reputation travels with you. And so, you know, and that works on the opposite side too. We're seeing a lot of different people in new roles
Right.
and new spaces. And again, even just at the event I did last night, we've worked at this place probably 6 times this year and 250 times over the last, you know, 5 or 10 years. But they had new staff.
Right.
And one of the things I noticed right away is that I don't know this person. Let me go talk to them. And they had no idea who we were. And it just speaks to the point that you kind of always got to work on those relationships. It's not just
Right.
we've always done this, but there's always new relationships, and you know you gotta work at it.
Yeah. Well, and look, you know, to your point, that change becomes a, you know, sort of a constant, right? And when you have these new faces in these new faces and spaces,
Oh, you did that.
you know, you have to
That's good.
support them uniquely, right? Like they're not just a nameless, faceless cog in a in a big wheel. The way that you support them may change, right? Their sales process may be different for how they're booking an event, and you know they may need you to fill a different gap. Thank you for that on the banner there.
You're welcome.
But it's important, you know, as quickly as you can to meet these new individuals at these spaces and learn their preferences, and you know just continue to be valuable to them as a preferred vendor or a preferred partner. I mean, like just think about what that is. You know, I prefer to work with you because you make my job easier.
Exactly.
It's almost like that's on purpose.
That is definitely a part of it.
Well, so there are some other relationships, and now I'm remembering to go back to the slide. Here we go. Drum roll. Partners. There we go. Now that one is kind of a
what does that mean?
Term.
What does that even mean?
Well, I mean, look, we're in the technology space, so there's constantly new things being introduced, whether it's needing support for you know some different equipment, and you're calling the manufacturers, and you know somebody's giving their kid a bath and they need to answer some questions because you're on site and you need help right now. And fortunately, we're
that has happened.
That literally has happened.
That has.
And we're you know we're fortunate enough to have some great partners in that space. You know, but at the end of the day, we're really looking for our own preferred partners, right? People that give us not just the piece of equipment that we may need, the right tool for the job, but also that they give us the right amount of support, and that can be there to help with things that are not always so cut and dry, because that's important to us. that's what helps us deliver the kind of experience that we want for our clients. That's not just take it out of the same box and take it off the shelf and show up and only use that. Sometimes we're doing things that are different and they're creative, and we need things that we don't have ready access to. And that's just part of, the world that we're in. And so we're looking for people who, kind of line up with our way of thinking, and that can kind of support us in our mission at that point to support someone else.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Most of the people that we've had as long-term vendors and suppliers, they think kind of like us, and that's always been a draw, and that's usually why we go to them, even when there may be a better product. Because in our world, if you don't have the support, like
you don't have much.
You don't have a lot. So you can have the product's not as technologically advanced, but you can use it a little easier, and it's better for our clients. That's the kind of vendor and supplier that we're really looking for. So it's an excellent point. Back to this partners word. I'm willing to think that there might be another type of partner that I can mention.
Is it one that maybe you wouldn't think?
It is one that I wouldn't think. What about competitors and other industry, businesses that are very similar? I know that that's really an unusual concept, because when I first got to this industry, I did not understand it. I had a very clear-cut enemy, and I would do anything to get their business. But those days are long gone. And this industry, on one day we're competing, the next day we're working together on a project, and then the next day they may be a client of ours. So that's really unique, and it's pretty cool. So that's another relationship that you really got to work at, and because you want to know what someone's good at. Maybe we're really busy. Maybe we're going to refer them to a client or to a project. Maybe there's particular equipment that they might have that we say, hey, so-and-so has that, and that'd be a really good fit for, this client's event. I think there's a lot of different ways, that we end up partnering with other, we'll call them competitors just for the sake of the term right now. But that's been very common, and we've done that for many years.
Well, I think that goes hand in hand with, what we would call doing business the right way. And that is, like we are going to try and outperform you from a sales perspective. Like we are going to try to have a better product. Absolutely. But it never involves, preying on somebody's downfall. It doesn't involve wanting somebody else to have a bad time. Because I would say this is a small industry, and and it's just it just doesn't align with our values here, right? So and keeping a collaborative relationship, I think, offers more advantages than, say, digging your heels in the sand and trying to beat everyone. That doesn't that just doesn't jive long term. At least it hasn't for us. So
what you're saying is you're not going someplace and unplugging things. Is that what you're telling me?
That is absolutely correct. It's kind of like how when the Yankees are in the World Series, Joe Gilderson roots for them wholeheartedly. Right, Joe?
That is not the case.
No, it's not. So it's different for sports?
They're the enemy. Yes.
Okay. All right. So there's at least some world where things are still normal. Okay, fine. Got it. Well, just as important as competitors, I would say there is another group that we would consider partners, and that is the contractors. So not quite vendors, right? This is more human capital. This is more people. This is the freelancers, the part-time employees, the owner operators. Maybe it's somebody with a niche skill set who has niche equipment that, when we need the right tool for the job, it's got to come with a person. And, oh, look at that. your good old pal who has just those things and, is ready to jump in, add their expertise as well as their time and actual physical goods. All of those kind of make up what we would consider contractors. Now, it could also be, say, an event planner who'd be a good fit to take on, a bigger scope project than we typically get into, or maybe it's a video editor who's going to help us chop things up into bite-sized pieces to be shared on social later. The infamous gig economy is built on, really exactly that. So there's a number of, people, less so groups, but individual contractors that help us be successful on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, that's really well said, because I don't think that happens in a lot of other industries, but
Right.
human capital and the people, that's why relationships are so important to us. That's
Right.
the driver to what we do. And I mean, we have a lot of people that are on our part-time roster. And then there's other, because they may work on particular projects because it was dependent on a particular skill set.
Right.
But then there's others that are just, they're real professionals. They're experts in their area. I mean, we did a full art exhibit that was completely all four walls of projection. It's called mapping, and it was full 4K resolution. You needed an expert just to do that, and the system had to be set up right. And so we had called actually a competitor, and a competitor referred us to an independent contractor. And that independent contractor is now a friend of ours. We had a great experience with. And, he had a particular piece of equipment that he was an expert in.
Hmm.
And that was exactly what we were looking for. And together we partner on this project and we have a great result. And, we've
Right.
done a number of things with the client since. So it obviously went well. But,
Right.
these are professionals and they spent years developing their craft, and we've spent years developing all of those relationships, and they stretch, not just in New York, but certainly all over the country, and in some cases since the virtual events we were working on, around the world, which is also really cool.
Yeah. Well, it also speaks to the fact that, nobody can be an expert in everything. And events and technology in general, but event and meeting technology,
I see what you did there.
Inc.
Yeah.
Event and meeting technology, really could incorporate a little bit of anything from a technology perspective, right? Because it's about experiences. The experience it could be such a wide span of, or it could just contain such a wide span of things that you need access to different resources, to different people who are experts in specific things. And that's how we pull everything together. That's how we pull the pieces of the puzzle together. But also, speaking of the relationships aspect, right? If we didn't treat these individuals well, would they really want to work for us next time?
That's a hard
I
no.
can answer that. Yeah, it's no. It's no. And look, sometimes the needs of an event or a particular client or what have you is more challenging than others. So they're not all super pleasant. Believe it or not, sometimes it's really hard work and it's stressful. But if we don't conduct business the right way, if we don't, hold ourselves to a standard, then we won't have those resources. And so developing that kind of roster of solution, where a client will bring us an idea, and if I don't have somebody who is willing to work with me to do it, then it falls down. Then it's not something we can help with anymore, right? So it really all kind of works hand in hand.
Yeah, it speaks to how important all the relationships really are.
It does. So, look, I mean, all of these relationships, they expand our perspective, our base of knowledge, our ideas, our methods, everything that we do to bring to a client. So, it all works together. It all works hand in hand.
Well, it also makes it more fun.
It
To
does
be
make
quite honest, if you think about it, if we spend all day talking to a bunch of our friends, that's a better day. It really is.
It certainly is. And, while the relationships can take many forms, we think developing them is something that actually does yield a return on investment. It may not, it's definitively not instantaneous, but over time, we believe it. We've seen it to be true. And so we certainly encourage this AVX audience to expand your own business relationships and look in places maybe you hadn't considered before.
Man, that was good. I had to type up a banner for it.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Developing relationships and deliver a return on investment. Look at that. Oh, quick fingers.
That's pretty good, though.
I'm surprised you didn't know we were going to say this already.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know. I mean, Ryan, you just you're off the fly, man. You're off the cuff.
I am.
I can't keep track of you.
We're doing it live.
I'm not trying to put, restrictions on your creativity.
Well, that's good. I'd be very upset if you did.
I mean, that shirt alone says enough. So,
All right, I'm back.
woo!
That's not good relationship developing, insulting me. Wow. That's
All
great.
right.
Thanks,
That might not have been a good example. I apologize.
Oh, boy.
Either way, I'll live to fight another day. That's all that matters.
True.
All right, Mr. Finch, I think it's time to wrap this thing
I
up
think
today.
so, too.
Why don't you tell them how they can find us?
You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube Live. You can do it every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And while you're there, you should drop us a comment, be part of the show, be like Robbie, ask
Thanks,
a
Robbie.
question even. Yeah, thank you, Robbie. Ask a question. We'll answer it live. And if you missed the show, oh, no, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. You should also like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. One day I'll actually write these down so they're in front of me, but not today. And if you missed the show, please check out our video discography on YouTube. And you can also find bite-sized pieces on Facebook and on Instagram for some quick video bites and highlights and stuff. So
So
there you have it.
And you are a real pro.
Some would say. I would say.
Hopefully,
Because I'm humble as hell.
You're so humble. You're the most humble. Hopefully, everybody likes the new features we had on today's show.
Oh, there's more to come, too. I do feel like I have to say that. We're merely scratching the surface. The creative wheels are turning.
Just scratching the surface. That's all.
Yeah. I'm going to spend all Joe's money.
Oh, boy. Okay. On that note, everyone, listen, it's been a great show. Let's keep those relationships strong. And we'll come back next week and we'll do this thing again. Mr. Finch, I'm going to let you initiate our closing.
Oh, you don't want me to take yours again, do you?
I don't know what you're going to do.
All right, folks. That's it. Adios. Auf Wiedersehen. Sayonara. Look, I got a catchphrase now.
That's great. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.